Ladies and gentlemen, gather round and behold the aluminium acorn that thought it was an oak tree, the 1952 Fuldamobil N-2. Yes, today we dive into the peculiar tale of a West German microcar that had the audacity to offer 2 seats, 1 driven wheel, and a body that looked like it escaped from a bomb shelter kitchen set. If a riveted lunchbox and an airplane hangar had a baby, this was it. But before we peel back the alloy curtain on this plucky 3-wheeled wonder, don't forget that subscribe button like you're trying to start a 2-stroke in January. Here at Cool Ideas, we tell the stories of the oddballs, the orphans, and the tiny titans that history forgot. Let's rewind to West Germany in the early 1950s, a place where you could still smell the rebuilding dust, and mobility meant either a bus, a bicycle, or a sidecar built by your cousin Franz. Into this space rolled the Fuldamobil N-2, courtesy of Elektromaschinenbau Fulda GmbH. It wasn't just a car, it was an idea that maybe, just maybe, you could have a vehicle smaller than your neighbor's sofa and still take your entire family and a loaf of bread across town without freezing your backside. Credit for the Fuldamobil series starts with Norbert Stevenson, yes, a journalist turned microcar messiah, who originally sketched the layout and cobbled together the first prototype in 1949. With backing from engineer Carl Schmidt, the little 3-wheeled contraption evolved into the more refined N-2, produced from 1952 to 1955. While its predecessor was powered by chainsaw-grade motors and optimism, the N-2 upgraded to a proper Sachs 359cc 2-stroke that actually made it feel like a real car, or at least a real attempt at one. Built largely by hand, the N-2 featured an ash wood frame covered in embossed aluminium that hid small dents and skipped the paint shop altogether. This dimpled texture earned it the nickname Silverflow, the Silver Flea, and you know you've made it when your microcar has a nickname cooler than most rock bands. Just under 380 were made before the curtain closed, and only a handful survive today. 3 officially known when Bruce Weiner's Microcar Museum sold theirs. Mechanically, it was as honest as a tax return audited twice. You got a single-cylinder, 359 cubic centimeter Sachs engine sitting just ahead of the rear wheel. That little motor spat out around 9.5 horsepower, sent through a 3-speed Herth manual gearbox with reverse, luxury, and linked to the wheel via chain drive. The whole thing sat on a central steel tube chassis wrapped in wood and metal like a high-stakes IKEA project. Suspension was independent, steering was chain and gear, and braking was handled by cable-pulled drums. The N-2 measured just 9 feet 4 inches. In length, 250 millimeters, 4 feet 7 inches, wide, 1,397 millimeters, and barely cleared your mailbox at 4 feet 2 inches, high, 1,280 millimeters. Despite the petite stats, it somehow squeezed in 2 adults, 2 small humans, and a bit of shopping. Wheelbase sat at 70.9 inches, 1,800 millimeters, and the curb weight hovered around 305 kilograms. The tires were comically small 4.08s, which made it look like it had borrowed shoes from a toddler. Top speed? A solid 50 miles per hour, or 80 kilometers per hour, if you tucked in and timed your shift with the wind. Fuel consumption was admirable, around 3.8 liters per 100 kilometers, about 62 miles per gallon, US. And while other microcars of the time were content with wobbly handling and sketchy brakes, the N-2 stood out for pioneering negative scrub radius geometry in its front suspension. A term makes Timmy's eyes glaze over and his beer glass mysteriously refill itself. The exterior skin deserves a moment. That iconic hammered aluminium wasn't just for show. It was a smart, cost-saving solution that also happened to look like industrial bubble wrap. It reduced visual blemishes, eliminated the need for costly paint, and turned every parking ding into character. It's the only production microcar that wore its raw embossed skin like armor. What's more, this wasn't just a novelty vehicle for city use. It was genuinely marketed as a family car. A well-sprung, weatherproof, serviceable runabout that could handle short trips and small errands with dignity. Well, micro-dignity. Compared to the Messerschmitt Bubble or the Eggy Izetta, the Fuldamobil felt like the practical uncle who'd help you move house while the others were busy posing for the cover of Futuristic Weekly. From a technical innovation standpoint, the N2 may be small, but it punches above its weight. That negative scrub radius I mentioned? It's a fancy way of saying the car stayed stable under uneven braking, something modern cars use today. And back in the early 1950s, that was cutting-edge stuff. It didn't just anticipate good handling, it designed for it. Decades before anyone expected such refinement from a three-wheeled jelly bean, and people noticed, not just in Germany, but across Europe and beyond. The Fuldamobil concept was licensed out like a good bread recipe. In the United Kingdom, it became the Nobel, in Greece, the Attica, in Sweden and Chile, the King. Even India tried a local take. That kind of international cloning doesn't happen unless you're doing something right. Of course, nothing this quirky stays cheap forever. In its day, the N2 cost anywhere from 2,760 to 2,990 Deutsche Marks, before a strategic price drop, 2,200 Deutsche Marks, in 1954. Adjusted for today, that's about $6,700 to $10,100, depending on the model year and your local economist's hangover level. Not exactly pocket change, but cheaper than rebuilding a garage after Timmy drives a Vespa through it. So how did the N2 age in the collector world? Well, that's where things get spicy. Back in the day, you could pick one up for the equivalent of a month's salary. But in 2013, RM Sotheby's sold a pristinely restored example. Yes, the very car from the Bruce Weiner Microcar Museum for a whopping $75,900. That's three-wheel, 9-horsepower, $75,000 commitment. Most modern cars at that price don't even come with as much personality, let alone handcrafted bodywork and engineering history. And here's the thing. Even if the N2 doesn't outrun a modern moped or win any beauty pageants, it deserves every euro of praise it gets, because it dared to do something few vehicles ever attempt. It made small feel dignified. It made cheap feel considered. It made basic feel brilliant. The Fuldamobil N2 wasn't a punchline. To our channel sponsors, those magnificent subscribers who've pressed that magical little join button, thank you. Without you, we wouldn't be able to keep telling these weird, wonderful automotive stories. And Timmy wouldn't have an excuse to keep buying questionable parts off eBay. So here's to the little silver flea that could. May your welds hold strong, your Sachs engine burble forever, and your restoration budget never require a second mortgage. And to you, dear viewer, don't forget to like, subscribe, and stay strange. And if you ever find yourself in a three-wheeled aluminium box wondering where life went wrong, just remember, you're probably in the right place.